Welcome to Scorched Earth and a general reading for the sign of Taurus, Sun, Moon or Ascendant for the month of January 2023. Happy New Year to you. I hope you're well, and I'm using the Tarot of the Abyss for you today. Before we start, I'd just like to let you know that there will be an extended that you can access at the end if you are interested in doing so, if the reading resonates and you'd like to go a little bit deeper. That's the first link in the description box. The second link in the description box is to the 6-month overviews that I've done for each of the signs. They run from January to June 2023. So if you're interested in finding out what that 6-month period holds for you, knock yourself out, you know where that is. And the third link is to my private community, the Order of the Phoenix, over on Circle. If you fancy coming and hanging out with some like-minded people who are interested in all sorts of esoteric stuff, not just tarot, please do feel free to come and join us. So let's have a look and see what's going on with you, Taurus. Can I have 3 cards for Taurus, please? There's the first one. We have the 6 of Pentacles in reverse. Interesting, because that feels slightly uncomfortable, but let's roll with it and see what goes. See what gives. Current energy for Taurus is the Empress. I like that very much. We've got the King of Swords has fallen out to the side, but I'm going to put it back in because it didn't jump. And what's coming towards Taurus for January, please? Drifted out very elegantly. We've got the Page of Wands. Right. Knight of Cups at the bottom of the deck. So whatever you're doing at the moment, Taurus, you're absolutely moving from the heart. But I'm rather delighted to see that we have the Strength card sitting there behind it. So I feel like part of the instability that is being indicated by the 6 of Pentacles is actually you moving out of your comfort zone. And we know how much I like it when you do that, Taurus. Because it leads to your personal growth, right? It always gives you something. But let's get some clarifiers out and see what's going on here. Tell me about the 6 of Pentacles in reverse, please. We have the 5 of Pentacles. And thank you. We have the Lovers card in reverse. Interesting. Tell me about the Empress, please. We have the 2 of Cups. And we have the 3 of Pentacles. Interesting. And tell me about the Page of Wands, please. We have the 5 of Cups with the 8 of Swords. I like this. This is a process right here, because you've got the 3 of Wands at the bottom of the deck. Let me flip this around so you can see what's very messily going on. Let me get these straight so you can see what's happening here. I'll put these cards where you can see them. You can't see them. Let me see it there. Okay, so we start off in your recent past with the 6 of Pentacles, and like I said, that is indicative of some level of instability that you are currently wrestling with. The thing is, with the with it being where it is, and with the other cards taken into account, I actually feel like you've brought this instability upon yourself. Not in any kind of pejorative way, like bad Taurus, you've done this to yourself. More like good Taurus, you've done this to yourself. Because like I said, it feels like a comfort zone shift for you. We've got the 5 of Pentacles there, talking about, you know, a sense of well, possibly isolation and whatnot. But I think it comes down to an understanding that what you currently have is not what you need. There is something missing from the equation here somewhere. Now, the really good thing would be working out how you are blocking that from coming in, or how you have somehow caused this to come in. And I'm sure all of you Tauruses are kind of ahead of me on that one anyway. You'll have already worked that out for yourself. But I'm interested in this Lovers card in the reverse. We have the Emperor. Thank you. And we have that King of Swords popping out again. Different deck, but there he is. He wants to pop out. So, Emperor is Aries. Father of Swords is Aquarius. Why are you turning away from something? The Lovers card is a card of union. It talks about people coming together, you know, getting into alignment with other people often. I mean, it talks about other things as well. But I think there's some sense here of you having released a relationship that is not good for you. Because for the first time you see that it is not good for you anymore. Right? That's incredibly infantile way of expressing what I'm seeing here. But if the Lovers card has a union, it has people coming together and they're working together to achieve something together. When it shows up in the reverse, it's a peeling apart. Now, I don't think that this is necessarily a right here, right now sort of situation. It's not that this is happening, in your recent past, which frankly could be this morning or it could be 6 weeks ago. It's different for each of you. This feels more like the emotional baggage that went along with something that broke down a little while ago. We got the Emperor and the Father of Swords, and both of these are very, very masculine, very controlling energies here. Obviously the Emperor is an incredibly controlling energy, and it's Aries. But this Father of Swords, this Aquarius energy, is also, in its own way, quite controlling. What we've got here is somebody who wants to make all of the decisions about something. And I think that the influence of this person has actually left your life. Whether or not they're an Aries or Aquarius, it doesn't really matter, actually. But the important thing is that they were in charge and they were making the decisions. And what's been happening recently is you are cleaning up the mess that they left. I think that's probably the best way to put it. It's cleaning up the mess. Because we've got the Six of Swords at the bottom of the deck here. And like I said, it doesn't feel like this is a current situation. This feels like you dealing with the fallout of all of that. The interesting thing for me is that is pushing you in an unexpected way to become the Emperor and to become the Father of Swords for yourself, the King of Swords for yourself, because you are being pushed to make decisions that you would have allowed somebody else to make because it was, I don't feel like it was easier for you. But I mean, let's dig into this. Let's see what this is about. No, actually, I want the Night Sun Tarot. Let's give it a little hug here. Tell me about this situation here, please. What's going on here? So we've got the Five of Swords turning up in the reverse. Excellent. Oh, wow. And double aces. Okay, this is absolutely extraordinary. We've got the World card at the bottom of the deck talking about tying up of loose ends, like the end of a cycle. The breaking down of this relationship is one of the best things that could have happened to you, Taurus, because it is forcing you to do things that you ordinarily would have allowed somebody else to take the reins of. And the fact that the Five of Swords is showing up in the reverse shows me that you have realised that the way that you have been thinking about this up until this point was very much still in the shade of the person that made the decisions. Now, there's something of a pattern here. I feel like all of you will have had at least one parent who was quite forceful, quite self-interested, and had to be the one that made the decisions about things, right? And you were brought up in a way that showed you that autonomy was not something that you had access to, right? This is not unusual. We have talked about this at length for the last couple of years. But this relationship here is the most recent iteration of that same energy coming back to bear. And as this relationship has fallen apart, whether it was an intimate relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever, or whether it was a business partnership, or whether it was a friendship, it's seeing an end to you allowing somebody else to take the reins of your life. Right? The Five of Swords in reverse is a stabilization of this energy of unstable thinking about things, right? Where you weren't quite following the right mental track. Maybe your critical thinking skills were gone on a bit of a holiday during this point, and you let somebody else take charge because you trusted that they knew what they were doing. It seems to me like you are now starting to see how that was folly. And in doing so, like I said, it seems to be pushing you up to the position of Emperor, you up to the position of the King of Swords, because you're making all the decisions now. And this is creating opportunities. Right? I always love to see an Ace of Pentacles for a Taurus because it's a very special thing indeed. But being accompanied by the Ace of Wands is hale and hearty, is what I heard there, which is a very cool thing. It's encouraging you to live differently. Perhaps expand your horizons and consider things that you would not have considered before, because you would have brought them to this person and said, what do you think about this? And they would have gone, no, I have to be in charge. That's a terrible idea. What are you even doing having ideas, Taurus? Fuck off. And you've gone, oh, okay. And you'd have done that. Now, the light of inspiration seems to have been switched on in your head, and all of the stuff that comes with it, all of the control, all of the holding of the reins and whatnot, is actually coming across, it's coming in holistically. It's not something that you're actually trying to do. It's something that's happening all by itself as you pursue whatever this Ace of Pentacles and Ace of Wands represents to you. Now, these are both seeds. They talk about potential, but you can't exploit the potential of something if there is no potential, right? So it's necessary that this potential is swirling around you, but you have to do something with it. You have to manage it. You have to work with it. You have to do something with it. You have to take charge of it. And that's what I see is going on here for you. This is really, really important. And you feel, to me, inspired. Right? There's a great seam of creativity that you appear to be tapping into now, which is genuinely, it feels like it's starting to light you up. Now, where the Ace of Pentacles comes in, because that is a point of attention for you, is perhaps this is something that is worth investing in, whether that's your money or your time or your care or your effort or your love or all of the above. You feel very excited, and rightly so, I think, because in your current energy we have the Empress. Now, the Empress is great creativity, abundance, joy. She's depicted as pregnant here because she is working on something that will be released into the world at some point when it is ready. I would suspect it's not quite ready yet, but you're certainly working on it. The Empress for me is also the card of Taurus. I mean, it is also given to be Libra because of the Venusian correlation. But when it comes to the act of creating life, that seems to me to be a very earthy, very Taurian endeavour over Libra every day of the week. That's just my opinion. And we've got it under here. We've got the two of Cups and we've got the Three of Pentacles. And I think that what this is talking about is the fact that there is a partnership that is important for you in the here and now, where there is a strong alignment of values and goals and ways of doing things. And that needs to be elevated. Right? Not in a putting on a pedestal kind of way, but right, the importance of this relationship needs to be elevated. Now, when I say relationship, it doesn't have to be a spouse or a boyfriend or a girlfriend or anything like that. It can be a business partnership. It can be a friendship. It can be you and another person, right? Coming together with a shared vision. Where this thing has fallen apart, this thing here, this relationship, whichever one that it is, feels like it is getting stronger, right? We've got the Three of Pentacles there, which talks about cooperation and collaboration. But because it's Pentacles, it's talking about building something, right? Whatever that is, it's people coming together and creating something that is more than the sum of their parts. But you seem to be overseeing all of this, which I think is absolutely awesome, Taurus, because there's something of this that is your vision. Like it's the Empress that's pregnant. The Empress isn't wandering along and pointing at pregnant people. You are the one that holds the creativity here. Got the Eight of Cups. What do we have here? Two of Wands and the Nine of Wands. That's an interesting set of cards right there. Because the way that I'm reading this is that the more space that you create emotionally by letting this go, and possibly anything that has been brought up by this relationship here, perhaps the patterning and perhaps how you have in the past kind of sort out that kind of power dynamic where somebody else is in charge and you just, you do all of the stuff, you're the foot soldier, as it were, right, is completely changing. The space that's been created by leaving behind the emotions that I've sent you in the direction of people like that is giving you an opportunity to start getting really, really fucking creative. Right? It's allowed you to put more effort and attention into this relationship here, which is far more important than that ever was, and has far more chance of success than that ever did. Because this just left you feeling like you were left out in the cold. Always. And we've done enough work together now, Taurus, to know that in somewhere along the line, you went, here's all the power. You can be in charge, you can be in control. And that actually didn't work for you. We've talked a lot about how Taurus is a herd creature, and often it's very, very difficult for Taurus to put their head above the parapet. Yet, when you do, beautiful things happen. See, this Two of Wands is a crossroads here. But it actually doesn't feel like a crossroads to me. It's a really interesting thing. It doesn't feel like a crossroads to me. More, it feels like the more you let go of what was, you allow that space, it's almost giving you the tools to hop over the things that you find emotionally difficult. Maybe this is where this other person comes in here, that they complement you to the degree that where there's something that you struggle with, this is something that they're good at, and vice versa. It's giving you the stilts to get over the wet stuff so you don't need to get your feet wet. And it takes you to the Nine of Wands. And the Nine of Wands is about you and your personal creativity. It often talks about resilience and boundaries. And I think boundaries perhaps are always something that are going to need a little bit of work with you, Taurus. But look how he is fashioning this into something really, really beautiful. What a Taurian thing to do. You take something that is essentially just a tool and create something stunning out of it. It actually almost looks like part of this as well. So whatever it is that you two are working on, perhaps you two or you three, there might be a few of you who are working on a thing, right? What you've done is found someone who is on the same page as you, but complements you because they have a different skill set. And what's happening is, rather than just having to rely on the two wands, there are many sets of wands that are coming in to create something that is bigger than the sum of its parts. Something that is bigger than just you, and something that is bigger than you and one other or two other Tauruses. Two others, Taurus, singular. This looks really, really good. I really like this for you. Because for the first time, you're not allowing anything to hold you back. Like, the creativity is running and it's coming through strong. And like I said, the more space that you create emotionally, the more room there is for this creation, which is wonderful. When we come into January for you, we've got the Page of Wands. Now, you are perhaps the first sign who hasn't had some kind of warning about Mercury retrograde, to expect what the energy of the retrograde might do to you. And I wonder if that's because the retrograde is in Capricorn, right? And Capricorn is cardinal earth, and it's all about pointing the way, and Capricorn is a builder as much as you are. But Capricorn's always facing forwards and Taurus has always been facing backwards. And what's happened here is that you seem to be turning. You know, what's coming in for you in January is a feeling of excitement about what comes next. And this Five of Cups and Eight of Swords actually feels like what it is that you are leaving behind in order to really tap into that. Let's see if we can get some validation for that point from the cards. Tell me about this Five of Cups and Eight of Swords. Yeah, there it is, King of Swords. Ooh, look at that. That's so strong. Ooh, and the Wheel of Fortune at the bottom of the deck. I think that's what it is. Right? All of the other signs that I've read for so far are being entreated to, you know, stand still, have a look, make sure that they're working on the right thing for the right reasons, see if their goals have changed, see if what they want out of life has changed, you know, check themselves in terms of the steps that they are taking towards, you know, whatever it is that they're planning, because you have to concentrate on delayed gratification and all that sort of stuff. Well, Taurus doesn't need to hear all of those things, because this is all stuff that Taurus does naturally. Right? There are some benefits to being such a slow-moving sign as Taurus is. You know, certainly with fire and air, for example, we tend to act first and think later, or think very fast, but maybe not do anything about it. You know, the speed is there such that what happens is there comes a point further down the line where they have to deal with either the consequences of something that they've overlooked, or the consequences of something that they've overthought, consequences of something that they've done or not done. Whereas because Taurus moves very slowly, Taurus can do all of these things, can be reflective on the fly as you are doing the thing. And the only thing that's ever been slowing you down is the amount of power that you gave away to other people, the lack of faith that you had in yourself, the lack of trust that you had in yourself. And as that is, like this card here is showing, as that is all starting to evaporate, what it's doing is creating space. And you are allowing all of this creativity to come in. I mean, the Taurus as the Empress, I think, is actually a bit of a force of nature. And not in that way that we usually talk about Taurus, you know, being incredibly stubborn and all that sort of stuff. No, this is consistent and reliable and following a series of highly predictable steps in some ways, right? But allowing the fringe of chaos at the edges. So the steps of progression are, say, in pregnancy, right? We know that the baby is going to be doing this and having all of its limbs together and all of these different points in pregnancy. It's going to be this size, it's going to be doing this thing, it's going to be kicking its legs around, it's going to look like that. Like, there's the prescriptive aspect of it. But where the chaos exists at the fringes is that fluidity that you're allowing yourself and allowing other things to come in. So it's kind of like, it's like the ivy that takes over a house. You know, if you look at the two things, you know, well, which is the stronger, the house or the ivy? And most people would say, well, hopefully it's the house. But over a period of time, left to its own devices, the ivy will take the fucking house down. You know, if you've ever struggled with trying to get it out of your brickwork or all of that sort of thing, or even worse, you know, trees do a good job in disrupting houses. Are they doing it fast? Are they hitting it fast? No. They're slowly just doing their thing, being them, being authentic, taking up space, allowing that creative energy to flow so that there is constant growth. And this is what you end up with. So January feels like a month that is filled with excitement with you, not just because of what you have planned, but also what you have conquered to get here. You know, we have the Five of Cups and the Eight of Swords. We're talking about loss, grief, trauma, possibly, all of the things that have characterized your life, probably for the last, well, your whole life, really, but the conscious acknowledgement of it being really in the last 2 or 3 years. And a fixed mindset, you know, something that has you only doing things one way all of the time. That fringe of chaos at the edges is the open openness to doing things differently, allowing yourself to think differently, perhaps even just allowing yourself to be creative, because there is no one who is going to naysay it. There is no one to whom you have given full creative control anymore, or control of any sort, right? This is all about you. You've got a relationship here that is extremely level and extremely reciprocal, and working on that basis so that you can create something. But look at these two cards here. We've got the King of Swords and the Nine of Pentacles. You get to decide where your resources go. Now, you'll have to take that as it resonates to you, because for some of you that will be money, but for others of you it will be about what you choose to spend your time on, how you choose to invest the most precious thing that you have, which is your time and your attention. It feels to me like an incredibly empowered month for you, and one that, you know, it might be as simple as you're just learning that it's okay for you to be in charge. That would be a big thing in and of itself, but the presence of the Wheel of Fortune makes me feel like there is something much bigger going on here. And so whilst there might not be much in the way of movement for you in January, there's a lot of preparation, there's a lot of groundwork, and this is what you know, Taurus, this is what you do very, very well. You create the foundation for which, you know, something crawling in my hair, I think, on top of which everything else can be built. You know, you are the zodiac's point of contact with the earth, so there's always a grounded energy about what you're doing. But the presence of the King of Swords and making decisions about things, you know, that's airy. Emperor, that's fire. You're bringing in all of the other elements. The water comes here with your with this person or persons that you've partnered up with. I think the investment is in the willingness to be in charge, the willingness to be in control, and keep an eye on your pentacles. You decide where they go. You are responsible for where they go. And all of this is absolutely exploded out of the equation. It doesn't form part of anything anymore, other than for you to be able to look back and go, holy shit, you know, look how Five of Cups and Eight of Swords I used to be compared to where I am now. And that kind of reflection is always useful for you, Taurus. You need to see where you've been so that you can fully appreciate where you are now. Where you are feels very exciting indeed. So I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to hop over to Vimeo. If you would like to join me and have a dig into January specifically, you are more than welcome to do so. Don't forget about the other links in the description box as well, if you're interested in those. But if none of that interests you, that's all absolutely fine. Just know that I love you all very, very much, and I will see you soon.